Okay, as you can imagine, this one is going to be one of those divisive, spicy, political episodes of Red Eye Raw. I have debated multiple times back and forth whether or not to actually make this episode, or to just save it for my end-of-the-year video, but this week has been a goddamn mess as far as politics goes. Everyone else has been putting in their 2 cents, and I've already pissed people off plenty this year, so what the fuck have I got to lose? So let me preface this by saying that obviously everything I am saying is coming from the stuff that I have seen, and I cannot 100% confirm absolutely everything, because stuff's not done. The media would have you believe that everything is over. It's not. It's still going on, and I think that it is likely that it ends up how they think it will, but I think that there's plenty of chances that it won't. So, full disclosure, as I said in my video about my political views and how they've changed over time, right? I voted Trump, and I will never regret that. I think that that was the right choice for the country. I think that was the right choice for myself, and I am glad I finally did my civic duty for once. This is the first election I have ever voted in. I used to not believe in voting. I used to think that it was not effective or anything, but if anything good comes of this, it's the fact that it's made a voter out of me for future elections as well. I'll have you know also that I am not a partisan, meaning I am not part of a political party. I don't like political parties. I think political parties, in general, are a bad idea. George Washington himself was against them, and I don't like them. I registered non-affiliated when I registered to vote. And again, just for the full sake of transparency, I did vote in a lot of Republicans for local area stuff. However, I also did vote a couple of third-party on the local level. They didn't win, Republicans did, as I figured they would. I live in a relatively red state. But on the local level, I did vote in a couple of third-party people. I voted a couple of third-party people. They didn't win, but as I said, I didn't expect them to, but I wanted to give them a shot. So, despite the fact that I did vote for Trump and I voted the majority for Republicans, I'm not saying I like the Republican Party. In fact, the Republican Party I have my own set of issues with that are separate from my issues with the Democrat Party. But, as I keep telling many of my friends, and I've told them multiple times, there is fuckery afoot. And that is a new phrase that I really like to use now. Kind of based on the phrase, there's trickery afoot, but, but there definitely is fuckery afoot. There is. And again, I can't exactly quantify it because investigations are still underway. There are lawsuits going on, court cases, criminal charges. The DOJ is investigating things as well. I would say there is definitely fraud. As to how widespread that fraud is, that's a whole other question. Is it enough to sway the results? Who knows? That's why investigations happen, right? But I will also say on a more cynical and yet realistic level, I think that every election has some degree of fraud. I do think that this one had a lot more potential for it due to the mass mail-in voting. We've got dead people voting in quite a few areas. We've got people voting, again, using a woman's maiden name in addition to the woman already having voted with their legal name currently. We've got people voting who don't live in the states they voted in. We've got them stopping the counting on election night and saying, oh, we'll start again at 10 a.m. in several states, only to have over 100,000 votes randomly appear, all for Biden, 0 for anyone else, no third parties, all for Biden. And they just randomly shoot up when they're not supposed to be counting anymore. We have machines glitching and swinging votes overwhelming, like from 6,000 one way to the other, and then them fixing it later on, admittedly. But that was on a smaller scale, and over 30 states used that exact same technology, so, that could have potentially swayed stuff in other areas. Again, everything I'm saying is speculative, because investigations are still underway, and you have the media desperately trying to say there is absolutely zero evidence of fraud. You have YouTube doing these bullshit fact-checkers trying to say, oh, it's not true at all, and they keep I guarantee you under this video there's going to be a little thing that says, the AP has called this race for Joe Biden, because that's underneath every single video talking about this right now, because they really want to try and discredit anyone talking about this and not just saying, Joe Biden is the next president. He might be. It's very likely he will be, admittedly. And if he does, guess what? I'll just continue living my life. But I am going to be... I do think that needs to be investigated. I think that no matter what the end result is, the other side's probably never going to be satisfied. I myself am probably going to still be suspicious of it, even if it goes to the courts. And fails. I mean, unless they very thoroughly investigate it. I've been keeping up, with, like, the Project Veritas videos of all the people sneaking in ballots, potentially, because they bring in these big containers that never get checked. I've seen the videos of observers being blocked from actually seeing the count, which is completely illegal. They're supposed to let them see the count to observe it. They're making them stand, like, way the hell back, in a lot of cases even kicking them out altogether and boarding up the windows so they can't see. I've seen pictures of vote counters in Pennsylvania that have Biden-Harris masks, which I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to wear anything political when you're going to an official vote count, but okay. But yeah, you have the media and all these other people trying to discredit any of these claims when there's a lot of claims, and I haven't named anywhere near all of them. It is spicy, the amount of shit that is going on. And some of it might be computer glitch or human error. I'll concede that some of them might be. I'm not going to say any of them are, but some of them definitely could be. So, that should be taken into account, but even then it should still be investigated. The thing that's really fishy is why the hell don't they want it investigated? If they're so sure that Biden won cleanly, why the hell not look into it? To make sure, hey, just for, as to throw you guys a bone, let's take a look, make sure it was a clean win, and then we can all move on. But they're so desperate to try and discredit it. You got Fox News selling out. I mean, Fox News has been shit for a while. They've always been the controlled opposition. They've never truly been, a principled company, but they've really shown their true colors this last week. Because Fox News was one of the first to call Arizona when they shouldn't have, because the numbers were still being counted, and it was shifting drastically after they called it. Arizona still, I believe, still can go either way, and it's been called by most news organizations as of now. But Fox News also cut off Kayleigh McEnany when she was giving a talk about what the campaign's plans are to fight this, and that basically said we can't let her continue because it's not verified. Let her fucking continue. You're just as bad as CNN, you fucks. Because CNN, or I think it was CNN, it might have been MSNBC, so don't misquote me on that, but another news organization muted Donald Trump when he was talking about it, saying that, we can't let him keep talking because he's not if he's lying, let him lie, and then bring out your counter-argument. Just cutting him off does not make you the winner. Silencing your opponent does not win an argument. As I said, there's still a very good chance that Joe Biden keeps the office. It is very likely. Because the legal path is very slim and narrow, but it is still a feasible path. So to act like it's over is being irresponsible. And it would be very funny if it actually did end up going the other way, because then Trump could pull a Truman and hold up all those headlines that say that Biden beats Trump. It's just like what Truman did when he had that newspaper that said Dewey beats Truman. The media has proven time and time again this year to be completely unreliable. Their polls have been drastically wrong, even if Biden keeps the presidency. They were wrong on the margins in everywhere, pretty much. They were wrong on the House, because the House has actually moved closer to being Republican. It's still Democrat-controlled, don't get me wrong, but they were very wrong on how that turned out. They were wrong on the Senate, which has stayed by and large Republican. There's still a couple of runoff elections that'll determine whether or not it actually does, but it's looking like it's going to. Okay, so my video file got split in half, and then I put it back together, but since I'm already editing it, I'm going to add this in the middle here, and probably add in a couple of little things here and there. Again, Red Eyebrow is usually unedited, and I'm not editing anything out. But another thing is that state legislatures have overwhelmingly turned Republican. So again, just the polls were wrong on every level other than the presidency. Well, even the presidency, even if Biden wins, because they were wrong on the margins, because it was very slim no matter how the results turn out. But yeah, I've been trying to keep up as best I can. I've been watching, plenty of different outlets that have analyzed it. I've seen some of the mainstream media, even though they've been really unreliable, and they all keep pushing this narrative calling him President-elect Biden already and all this shit, which, admittedly we usually do say, once the media calls it, it's over. But this is a special circumstance, like Bush v. Gore. Gore was declared president for like 30 days before it was switched to Bush. But yeah, this thing ain't over till it's over. Basically, all of the legal battles and stuff have to be done by, I believe it's like December 8th, because the Electoral College goes in to vote on December 14th, and at which point that's when the president is 100% decided, there's no going back. I have plenty of friends that have been very down because of this, Some of them I've had to tell them to stop being so fucking gloomy. Because no matter what, like, granted, I'm concerned. Do not get me wrong. I am concerned at what the future holds should Biden keep the office. Don't get me wrong, I am. I don't like a lot of the crazy shit that's been said. I don't. But as long as the Republicans keep the Senate and make gains in the House, and they've got the court, I think that it's going to actually be fairly, hopefully balanced. I'm still very concerned about a lot of the things him and Kamala Harris have brought forward. Don't get me wrong. I am super concerned about that. Like that crazy equity talk and all that other bullshit. There's a lot of things I'm concerned about. But at the end of the day, our part is done. We need to leave this in the hands of others. Unfortunately, our part is done. Once we've cast our vote, that is the end of our part so far. The only other thing we can do is, talk. If you're really concerned, you can donate to people. There are things like that exist. There have been some questions called into concern about that as well, I've heard. I've heard some people say that Trump is planning an exit strategy and planning to run again in 2024. And that's what the funding is for. And I will say, I can't say one way or the other on that. That's certainly possible. But yeah, like I said, do not mistake me saying, don't be so fucking gloomy, to saying, don't be worried. Because it makes sense to be worried. It does. But this thing ain't over, and we don't know exactly how bad it's going to get, because unfortunately, if Biden does keep it, we do gotta give him a chance. Just like we had to give Trump a chance. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like anything he stands for. But, if he wins in the courts as well, and it is decided and certified he keeps the presidency, guess what? I'll accept it. Well, accept is the wrong word, but I will tolerate it. And I will say, hey, do your best, I wish you the best, and I hope that he does do the best. It's not over, so I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But if it does, let's hope the other branches keep each other in check. But I think every legal avenue should be explored. I think that any allegations of fraud should be investigated. And I think that no matter what, we should try to reassure ourselves that this was clean, no matter how it goes. If it turns out it was clean and Biden takes over, hopefully he does right by us. Like I said, I'm concerned. I don't like a lot of what he says, but if people voted for Biden, shouldn't we all want it to be a clean result and actually know for sure that it was legit? For my last little bit of this, I'm going to kind of turn this into a Red Eye Recommends, because I'm going to mention some of the channels I've been watching to stay up with current events. Obviously, you guys know what my biases are, and so a lot of these are going to lean that way. I do listen to other sources as well on the other side of things, but the ones that I typically stay to keep kept up before doing further research tend to be Tim Pool, and he has 3 channels, Tim Pool, Timcast, and Timcast IRL. He also has a news network called Scanner, but I don't watch that one, really. Another one I watch quite a bit is Sticks Hexenhammer 666. He does really good news updates. Both of these guys do news updates every morning. Tim Pool does 6 videos a day. So he does 5... well, no, he does more than that. He does 6 main videos a day. So 5 on the Timcast channel, 1 on the Tim Pool channel, and then 6 on the Timcast IRL channel. The 6 on the Timcast IRL channel are actually segments from the previous night's live streams, because he does a 2-hour live stream every night called the Timcast IRL Podcast. Sticks Hexenhammer typically does 4 videos a day, 3 on YouTube, and 1 that's exclusive to BitChute. But they both cover news and current events, so... and they're both obviously giving commentary with their own biased lens, as am I, as is literally anyone else. And although I do agree with most of what both of those guys say, there's a lot of things I don't agree with them on too, so you're never going to fully 100% agree with everyone on everything. But I think that Sticks and Tim Pool are the 2 most, in my opinion, balanced news sources I watch, but that is, again, coming from my current biases. So, keep that in mind. Another channel I watch quite a bit is Nick Rakija of Rakija Law. He doesn't do politics a whole lot, but he started to do it a lot more recently. Rakija is a lawyer, and he does, commentary on, news media, media, so, movies, pop culture, things like that. He'll do live streams talking about that. He'll also do live streams talking about the election. He's done several on them so far. He is a lawyer, so a lot of what he says I do tend to find a little bit more credible than some of the others, because he has experience with the law, and has brought up a lot of things which do point to how slim of a chance this is right now for Trump to pull it through, because Trump has very limited things, but he has stressed, we don't know just how slim, because it depends on what he brings forward, how he presents it, and how the courts respond to his lawsuits. So, he has brought up what are the most likely lawsuits to actually work. But again, he doesn't typically cover politics. He's actually only he usually covers high-profile legal cases. If you don't know, Nick Rakija is the one who actually started the Vic Mignogna GoFundMe, and he's also the one who he's done updates on the Vic case. He's done videos on all sorts of legal cases. That's just typically what he does, is he covers high-profile legal cases. And he doesn't cover all of them. He hasn't really done anything on the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard thing, although that Umbrella Guy and Yellow Flash both have. And they're also good ones as well. That Umbrella Guy and Yellow Flash, too. Those are pretty good ones that I stay mainly for the pop culture side of things, because they typically do updates on, like, anime, cancel culture, social media, things like that. I also watch Memeology 101 for short little kind of fun, snarky kind of almost, little quick videos that kind of explain things going on. He's a guy from Honduras who does little quick videos talking about current events. So those are pretty fun too. Memeology 101 actually has several channels. There's Memeology 101, Memeology 102, DSP tries it Memeology 101, which is his Dark Side Phil specific channel. There's also Memeology 103, but I don't think he's really uploaded to that one at all. I've also been watching a lot of Steven Crowder. I've actually joined Mug Club, which is his paid membership. I haven't got my mug yet, because I very recently joined it. And full disclosure, I'll say this, I haven't found anything on Mug Club that actually isn't already on YouTube. So I guess I'm still happy I did it to show my support for Steven Crowder, but I don't think that it's necessarily something that everyone should do, because, again, most of the stuff, if not all of it, I've been able to find on YouTube. But that said, I do like Steven Crowder quite a bit. He's obviously more conservative than a lot of the others I've mentioned, because Tim Pool and Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, although they do have conservative elements, they also do tend to have classical liberal elements and things like that. Steven Crowder's probably one of the most conservative sources I watch as far as, independent commentators. But on top of all that, I actually do constantly check Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, regular NBC. I do check many news sources. I check the New York Post, Daily Mail, The Hill, The Guardian. I do tend to check multiple sources just to check everything and make sure that I'm not staying biased. I do have my biases. My sources do tend to share a lot of my thoughts as well, although, like I said, I don't agree with any of them on 100% everything. But I do think staying informed is very important, which is why I check multiple sources instead of just sticking to the main ones that I like, although the main ones that I like are my typical go-to source at the beginning to get a kind of a summary of everything. And then I go in and look at the actual source materials. All the news sources they've used. In addition to that, I check a few others. But the point is, I do my own research as much as I physically can. Another interesting thing to note is the same group that for 3 years has been telling us that the previous election was rigged by Russia has now insisted that it's impossible to rig an election. So, which is it? Was the last one rigged, or is rigging impossible? I think that those two statements are mutually exclusive. But yeah, this week has been pretty crazy with that. That's why I haven't done as many videos, is because I've been so caught up in this. And I don't like to let it dominate my life, either. I think that a lot of people do that, myself included at times, especially this week. They let politics and current events kind of dominate their train of thought. That's why I've been putting out less videos, because I've been so distracted by that. I'm going to try later today to put out another review. And I think that for the sake of my audience and my sanity, this will probably be the last political video I do for a little bit. I'm definitely going to talk about political stuff in my end of the year video, because it's unavoidable with this year. And I am not 100% saying this is going to be my last before then either, because something big might come up that I feel that I really want to talk about. After all, like I said, Red Eye Raw is open game for anything. But I've done so many videos on politics this year that I'm going to try to take a step back here for a minute. Like I said, I was hesitant about making this one, because I know politics are inherently divisive, and I know that everyone gets sick of hearing about them, myself included. Let me also say, I have plenty of friends that have voted for Joe Biden, and I've talked to them, and I like them. I do not care who you voted for. I care about the integrity of our election system. So I just want to stress that if you disagree with what I said in this video, I do not judge you. I do not condemn you. I do not view you as an adversary or anything crazy like that. At the end of the day, we're all just people with our own opinions, our own thoughts, and our own ideas. That's the beauty of the world. I think it takes all sorts to make the world, as I've said in plenty of other videos. That's a quote from the IT crowd, by the way. It takes all sorts to make the world, that's a quote. But like I said, I have opinions, I'll express them, as we all have the right to do. But if you disagree with me, I don't condemn you, but I would encourage you to do your own research, and if they strengthen your own opinions, more power to you. That is the way the world works, and that is how humans work, is we look into things, and we build our own conclusions, as I have done here. But let me make it abundantly clear, I am making no definitive statements as to how prominent fraud may or may not be. That's something I'm being very clear on, because I know YouTube might go after me if I try to assert anything too definitively. My point is, we do not know. And like I said, I'm sure I'm going to get a little thing at the bottom that says, the AP has called this for Joe Biden. Learn more on Google. You know? And I have grown to increasingly distrust the mainstream media, and media in general, and their bullshit fact-checkers, quote-unquote. But yeah, those are my thoughts. This shit ain't over. It's all a mess. This election is a goddamn mess. It's sad that it's come to be the way that it is, but I've expected this for months, as have a lot of us, that it was going to be hairy, and that no matter who is declared winner, the opponent will not accept loss. In this case, I don't think he should until it's been investigated, but I do think it is also still likely Biden keeps the presidency, at which point it's something I guess I just gotta learn to live with, right? And hey, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. Even if Biden keeps the presidency, we don't know for sure what will happen. I am concerned about it, but ultimately, I'll just have to... I've done my part, and it's out of my hands at this point, so I think that we're in for an interesting 2021, regardless of who is declared winner by the courts. Anyway, I'm Fugitive Red Eye. Apologies for the politics, but, you know, sometimes on Red Eye Raw, we gotta dive into them. Like I said, I will definitely be talking about this kind of stuff, probably just kind of a recap of this year in my end-of-year video. It's not going to be wholly about that. It's also going to be about the channel, about the 10-year anniversary, about how many subscribers I've gained, which I appreciate the hell out of every single one of you. And I'll also briefly touch on the Rio drama I had just last month. So, I mean, the end-of-the-year video is going to be all-encompassing, and it's going to talk about absolutely everything within reason that has affected me this year, as far as the channel, as far as the world, as far as several other things. But yeah, interesting year this has been, for sure. But stay tuned, Papa John. Anyway, toodles.